Hello and welcome to Carless. In this video I will go through some of the new EVs and platforms that I am most excited about. I will not talk about Tesla, so if you came here for that you will be disappointed. I will also not talk about Polestar since that car is out, but more focus on the upcoming EVs and those that have just hit the market. So starting off with Lynk & Co 0. That's a really good looking car. I'm really excited about this one since I have signed up for the Lynk & Co 01 and I really like their mobility and subscription model. It feels very exciting to try that once it's out, but I was sort of disappointed that it wasn't an EV that they offered from the start. So the Lynk & Co 0 is something that I'm already waiting for. It's hard to talk about new EVs and not mention the ID.4 from Volkswagen. For my taste it looks a little bit too futuristic, and to be honest it's not my favorite car in the lineup. I have sort of tried to sit in it, and one thing that I couldn't forget is the touch buttons that are really terrible to use. One thing, however, that was really interesting and that looks really good is the sort of augmented reality interface for sort of navigation and driver assist functions. So I really like the platform, but the design and implementation in the ID.4 is not my favorite. It seems over-engineered for an EV. I mean, they have done some stuff like the touch buttons just because it's an electric vehicle. Moving along to another car in the Volkswagen group, the Skoda Enyaq. And this car is really good looking. I mean, I was really surprised that Skoda pulled off such a great design, especially when I don't like the ID.4. It looks futuristic enough, but it looks really practical. And the best part is that it doesn't have any touch buttons. Also, it has a lot of sort of features or smart features that Skoda often have. And if I had to sort of buy a car today, I think it would be the Skoda Enyaq because it's a reliable platform and seems much better looking and practical than the ID.4. So we'll have to mention the Audi Q4 e-tron. I won't cover it in this video that much because there's still too little information. However, it is supposed to have touch buttons, but I heard somewhere or read somewhere that it's supposed to have that Audi feel, so I really hope it is because the touch buttons in the ID.4 are really terrible. The next car is the Honda Ioniq 5. And this car looks really futuristic, but in a good way. So the ID.4 looks futuristic in a bad way, but I think Honda really pulled off the design here. They really did a better job than Volkswagen. One thing that hits me is that the car looks really small. I mean, it looks like a Golf in size, but it's actually the same size as the ID.4 and the Skoda Enyaq. The cousin to the Honda Ioniq 5 is the Kia EV6. So a little bit more conventional design, still a little bit futuristic. I didn't really like the design at first, but it's really growing on me. To summarize, I'm really impressed that both Kia and Honda really pulled off these sort of great vehicles. I mean, at least on paper, they look like bestsellers. And it seems like a way for both Hyundai and Kia to sort of take it to the next level with their sort of EV offering. So these cars are all based on 3 platforms. So starting with the SEA platform from Geely that is built for Lynk & Co and Volvo, plus many more brands. Next is the MEB platform from Volkswagen that will be used by Volkswagen, Skoda, Seat and Audi, but it seems not by Porsche. And last we have the eGMP from Hyundai that will be used by Hyundai and Kia. So as you can see, these are all sort of skateboard designs. And what does that mean? Well, they have a flat battery pack, 4 wheels and motors at the front and or end. And what are the advantages to this? Well, I will take Hyundai's platform as an example. So first, it's very flexible. You can scale it from small and to large vehicles. Since you don't have a large combustion engine and a drive shaft, you can move sort of internal parts to other places and make more room for the interior. You can also have a number of engines, so you can have from 1, 2 and even up to 3 or 4 engines, which means you can offer sort of different performance levels, but based on the same platform. They all have sort of large battery packs, which enable some cool features. Hyundai has sort of promoted going camping and bringing your sort of electric kettle with you, but there are much more exciting things you can do with a large battery pack as an energy source. So why is this a big deal that they all have similar designs? Well, it's mostly because many experts and analysts think that cars will go down the same development that smartphones did. So in the beginning they were quite different, offering different hardware and so on, but now they are, in terms of hardware, more or less the same, and something else has become much more important, and that is software and data. So my expectation is that we will see a lot of innovation now, which will plateau in 5 or 10 years, and at that point the cars will be more or less built on the same technology, and there will be other factors that sort of make the cars different. One detail is that Geely has actually teamed up with Foxconn, which is the manufacturer of Apple's iPhone in China. So why am I excited about these new sort of EV platforms? Well, we will have a lot of new sort of interesting designs, since because of the skateboard designs you can put more or less whatever chassis or design on it as you wish. So from a small cheap car to a big family bus or a luxurious SUV. In the future you will also be able to sort of hook up your car to the electric grid. So instead of just charging the car, you can actually provide the grid with electricity. So one thing that is a big problem throughout the world is sort of peak usage of electricity. So when electricity prices surges. But if you have a fleet of electric vehicles that are charged, you could actually sort of even those out. So during that period you could actually provide electricity to the grid and actually make an income. So you charge the car when the price is low, and you give back to the grid when the price is high. And I'm not saying you should do this sort of every day, because you still want to preserve your battery, but for a few days a year I think it might be worth it. So many are talking about that many more EVs will sort of put a pressure on electricity production and make things even worse. I think EVs are actually part of the solution. Sure, you will have to produce more electricity, but you will also be able to sort of even out those peaks or manage those peaks with the help of electric vehicles. I hope the design of sort of future cars will not be as quirky. Just because an EV, you don't have to over-engineer it. And again, I'm thinking about the Volkswagen touch buttons. I still can't figure out why they would do that. In a few years, I hope this has normalized, so we will have more practical solutions rather than sort of futuristic bells and whistles that don't really make anyone happy. I'm also excited about sort of Android Automotive and overall software in the vehicles and how that will evolve with the large sort of developers community that is out there. I mean, they're finally getting access to do things in vehicles, and we can expect some pretty great solutions. So hope you're as excited as me about the futures within EVs, and thank you for joining me in this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.